Hi, this is Matt from Speak Straight Mortgage. In this video, we're going to go over, do you qualify based on the information you provided? So to give you a summary on the first page of the worksheet, and if you haven't watched the first two videos of calculating monthly payment and determining out-of-pocket costs, I suggest you do that before watching this video. But at the top of the first page, so in the worksheet, there's multiple tabs. Make sure you're on the first tab, how much will my payments will be. There's a section here where it says max front DTI. Now this is important in qualification. What does DTI mean? It means debt to income ratio. So front DTI means the relationship between how much money you make and the mortgage or the total housing payment. Then there's the next section that says max back DTI. And same thing, debt to income ratio, but back DTI also factors in all the other debts on your credit report in most cases. Okay, and both of these are important to determine what you qualify for depending on loan type. And these are just estimates based on the numbers you're providing. I'm trying to make it as accurate as possible, but to get the exact number, you need to run it's called automated underwriting system to see what you get approval for. But based on my experience, I'm giving you the closest guess that I can get. Anyway, so that's important here to understand. Front DTI is the relationship between how much money you make and the total housing payment. Back DTI also factors in your other debts in your credit report. Both of those things, the max depends on the loan you pick. So that's kind of an overview of the factors that are involved, and how this worksheet determines what these things are is on the third tab over. Do I qualify part 1? This is calculating income. Now, I've only given access for to this section here where it says override borrower 1 income. You pick yes if you want to change the amount on this form. And then you can put in your total monthly income for yourself and for a second borrower. But you have to make sure you pick override and click yes. So for example, if I made $120,000 a year, which is $10,000 a month, I could put yes and put $10,000. And this is per month income, not per year. Same thing for borrower 2. I could put yes if there was a second borrower. Let's say they also make $120,000 a year. I would put $10,000 a month. So this is now factoring that you make the number you put in. The rest of this worksheet, where it goes into depth, that's something I use to validate your income. That's why it's important if you want a real estimate of what you qualify for. In most cases, if I'm sharing you this worksheet, I'm going to put the debts that you gave me in here and the income that you gave me. But this whole part of income, the reason why this goes so in depth is because there's a lot of factors in what we can actually count as income. So yes, you can get an estimate by putting in what your monthly income is, but I strongly suggest scheduling a meeting so we can determine what we can actually count. So that's the third tab, do I qualify, determines income. If you want to override what's on this tab, you just click yes, and it will then factor in what you ever put in. If you click no, it's going to go off of what I put in, if I put something in. Okay, so that's an important part because it determines the income and the debt to income ratio. Next part, if you go to the tab, do I qualify part 2, this is factoring in the debts other than the house that are on your credit report In most cases, I will have entered the information you provided to me. As far as revolving accounts, our credit cards, installment loans, are like car loans, personal loans, mortgages, and there's a separate section for student loans. Again, if you have student loans, I strongly suggest scheduling a meeting because there are a lot of factors involved what counts, depending on loan type. Okay, so basically the summary of this part 2, calculating debts, I'm going to most likely put the information you gave me. If you wanted to change that and override it, just like income, the income page, you can click what are my total debts, you can click override and just put in whatever you think your total debts are. So let's say if I just override that with 3,000. Then if I go back to the first page, it's factoring in that debt and income into the debt to income ratio. And it's showing the maximum amount that I'm estimating that could be based on what you put. So the second column, what your actual front DTI is based on these numbers, and your actual back end DTI based on these numbers, and it'll say if it's approved or not. And again, this is an estimate, it is not exact. But I'm using past information to try to give you the most accurate information possible. So that's kind of a summary of what goes into if you qualify or not. There's other factors like credit score that I'm influencing, that I'm taking into consideration what I believe will be approved. But I strongly suggest scheduling a one-on-one meeting so we can go over this in more detail.